Some on the left celebrating the possibility that Michael Flynn may flip and turn on the president.
Michael Flynn's lawyers cut ties with President Trump's legal team. This is big news, folks.
When I talk to a lot of Democratic voters, there's this hope and desire that this is going to go into the Oval Office, that this can be traced back to the president.
I think that Mueller is going to want something from Flynn on Kushner, Don Jr., or Trump himself.
Wow.
But is this just more of the left's wishful thinking of Trump-Russia collusion? Here with us with Legal Insight is Harvard professor emeritus, lifelong Democrat, and the author of Trumped Up, Alan Dershowitz. Professor, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Now, let's cut to the chase. You say Mike Flynn was up for sale. Explain.
Yeah, well, several months ago, and in my book, Trumped Up, I predicted his lawyer went out there and said, look, my client Flynn, he's not going to jail. I'll accept offers from either side. If the president doesn't want him to testify, he should pardon him. If the president doesn't pardon him, I'm making a deal with Mueller. He's up for sale, highest bidder. The problem is you can't buy a witness. You can only rent them because they change their minds. They're not credible. The only thing that President Trump has to fear is if Flynn has self-proving documents. His testimony has been shredded.
Which would show what?
Who knows? I don't think there is anything.
Because the article in the New York Times today suggests that Flynn, perhaps in an effort to save his son facing scrutiny as well, that Flynn would talk about the president having a conversation with former FBI Director James Comey and would spill the beans on the president telling the FBI Director Comey that you need to drop the Flynn stuff.
Number one, that's not a crime. President has the complete authority to say to the director of the FBI, do not investigate A, B, C, D. He could also have pardoned them all, the way President Bush #1 pardoned Caspar Weinberger on the eve of his going to trial. That is not a crime. It cannot be a crime to simply exercise your constitutional power. If a president takes a bribe, of course it's a crime. It's taking the bribe that's a crime. But the exercise of the constitutional power in and of itself cannot be a crime. So it's not clear to me that Flynn has anything to offer. But the point I want to emphasize, Flynn's testimony has been, his credibility has been shattered. He's made a deal. Any defense lawyer, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, he's trying to save his son. This man would sell you his grandmother to do that.
What then is the likelihood of the leap that the New York Times is making that this must mean he's turned on the president? You're saying it could be anything he needs to save himself.
That's right. But likely it means that his lawyer is sending a powerful message to the president. This man is either your friend or your enemy. If you want him to be your friend, pardon him. If you don't pardon him, he's your enemy. Could be a bluff. It could be Flynn doesn't have very much. But that's the way his lawyer is playing. And how do I know this? Because lawyers play that game all the time. Prosecutors play that game all the time.
Well, and Professor, you've been against the special counsel investigation and are against one for Hillary Clinton as well. Are you worried about the precedent that this is setting?
Absolutely. If you appoint a special counsel and just say, get him or get her, they use every tactic available. This is the domino tactic. You go for the low-hanging fruit. You indict them on something. It could be jaywalking. And you say, unless you testify against Mr. Big, unless you testify higher up, we're going to squeeze you. You better sing. And if you can't sing, maybe you ought to compose. Now, I don't think Mueller wants him to make up any stories, but people like this do compose. They try to make their evidence even better because they know the better the evidence, the sweeter the deal.
Professor Dershowitz, thank you. You always get it so we can figure it out in his book, as he pointed. Trumped Up. Thank you, sir.
Thanks
for being here.